the MJF stuff, I mean, one of the fun parts was you did the Labors of Jericho. And if someone had said to me pre-COVID, there will be a COVID, I would have said you were crazy. But that Chris Jericho would wrestle Nick Gage on TNT.
Yeah.
I mean, thoughts on, putting that together? Nobody expected to see that.
Well, here's what I love with working with Max, and it was like when our feud finally ended, it almost felt like broke up with my girlfriend or something. It was kind of sad because we worked in tandem for the whole thing. Obviously Tony's involved too, but just coming up with ideas from week to week and kind of having these overall arching plans. And we had the idea that I have to go through the guys to get to Max. The Mox program, he had to go through the inner circle to get to me. So it's kind of like. I don't want to do the exact same thing and go through the Pinnacle, but I do want to have a match with Spears. I do want to have a match with Wardlow. I want to have a match with everybody, and then Max said, well, what if we get some guests type of a thing? And he was really stuck on this Nick Gage guy. Now, once again, I don't know who the Nick Gage is. The only thing I vaguely remember about Nick Gage is isn't he the guy that tried to kill David Arquette or something like that? So I watched this Nick Gage, and I'm like, okay, I understand. So this is kind of cool. You bring your chair guy, Spears, I beat him. Then you bring in the deathmatch guy who's gonna tear your throat out. Okay, that's kind of cool. Then you bring in one of your oldest rivals, Juventud. Great. And then everyone's like, it's got to be Lance Storm the fourth, and this guy. No, it's Wardlow. That's the guy. It's just, that's where the Powerbomb Symphony started. My idea, by the way. Thank you. But Nick Gage, it was once again I don't know who this guy is, but he's insane. And then I asked Mox about him. He's like, oh, he's I think what he used, he's a teddy bear or something. He's just whatever he said. And I spoke to him a couple times, and he was super, super respectful. And that goes a long way with me. I meet a lot of guys in the business. As long as you have respect for the business, I'm cool with you. I don't care what you do. And when I met him, he was so, so respectful. And really was happy to be there and was kind of hey man, I just want to tell you I'm a real big fan of yours and it's really cool for me to be here. And I was like, he loves wrestling. This is the path that his wrestling took. Doesn't mean he's any less of a wrestler. I really started learning the psychology of deathmatch wrestling. What possesses these guys to do this? I'm not one of those guys, that stupid mud show wrestling. I don't look at it that way. I look at it, okay, there's a market for this, and these guys are really good at what they're doing. How are they doing it? So I really watched what he was doing, and I thought, man, I'll do it. There was a Chris Jericho time period I would never get hit with a light tube. That's stupid. That's not wrestling. That's shit. And then, once again, take head out of ass Jericho, and does it fit the story? Yes. Does it fit the story of the match? Yes. Let's do it. And that's how that match happened. And I loved that match. It's one of my favorite matches that I've had. I'll never take another light tube over the head. There's no reason for me to. Then again, I said I'd never take another thumbtack bump, and I took one the other day and blood and guts, so who knows? But it fit, and it was really cool, and he did a great job, and he's very popular. He really is very popular. And the only bad thing is sometimes we don't choose where the matches are. Had that match been in New York or Philadelphia or somewhere on the East Coast, it would have been even more of a reaction. We did it I think Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't know how big Nick Gage is in Charlotte, but people still loved it. And it was just really cool. And I always had it in mind, maybe there'll be a place where we can do something together again. I would do something with him at any point in time, bring him in for something special if I needed him for a story. Once again, nothing but respect for the guy, and I had never even heard of him prior to Max talking about him and suggest. That was Max's idea, and I think it turned out great. If you watch too, thank you. We came up with the idea, I would do the Frankensteiner from the top, and he would take the bump through the plate of glass that we had set up on two chairs. If you watch that back and slow it down, when I do the Frankensteiner, my feet hit the glass, and it pops up just a bit, and he comes down on it. Had it gone the other way, it might have just collapsed into the ground, and that wouldn't have happened. But it's amazing the stuff that could almost happen. But yeah, I was my feet hit that glass, and it was oh, please don't fall out. Oh, thank you.
And then Domino's got in touch briefly after that match.
That was hilarious. So Nick wanted to do a pizza cutout. That's one of his gimmicks. So right out of the gate, I said, well, he slices my arm with a pizza cutter. I still have a scar there. And that gets people like, holy this is real. And then during the commercial break, he starts slicing my forehead with the pizza cutter. In picture-in-picture. Now, picture-in-picture is like they take the screen down so you can still watch the action, but there's a commercial. People yell at us at Blood and Guts like, I get all these commercials during the match. It kills the flow of the match. You do understand it's free, and we have to pay the bills. So watch the commercials and shut your mouth, right? Just shut up. Quit complaining. I really wish they didn't have commercials on a free TV show for an hour-long match. Matches are too long. Matches are too short. Not enough action. Too much action. Shut up. So right when Nick is carving my forehead with the pizza cutter, there is a Domino's pizza commercial where the guy is cutting the pizza with what? A pizza cutter. Cutting. And apparently Domino's was furious. And this was like, AEW is going to lose all their sponsors, and then this is it. This is the end of the line. Nothing ever happened. I was like, if I was the Domino's guy, I would have filmed a Chris Jericho, Nick Gage commercial the next day. I mean, it's right there. Pizza cutters, Domino's, they go hand in hand.